Come along as we take a tour of Salvation Mountain. This is the work of one man, Leonard Knight. I think he started in around 1984. He was from Vermont originally, served in the Korean War. He had a coming to Jesus moment at his sister's place in San Diego. He tried to first create a giant hot air balloon. He had kind of taken all the fabric and sewn it together, all these pieces and patches, and it just never worked out. He spent years trying to make that work. He had it painted with verses and different phrases and love and the message he wanted. He wanted to fly that balloon, but it just never worked out. After years, he finally gave up on that. And he'd come out here to this desert slab city, this area, and he was just staying out here. And he decided he was going to try to at least leave a little marker. And he had half a bag of cement. And he started to make a little marker just to kind of say he was there and get his message out. And pretty soon days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. He just kept adding to it, kept finding cement, kept finding different paint, and kind of creating this monument that he wanted to leave as a message to others. And unfortunately, he used too much sand and not enough concrete, and it eventually collapsed in on itself. Rather than be discouraged about that, he just kept going. He decided, okay, he said to himself and prayed, thank you, God, for showing me this was unsafe, and I'll do it better now. So this is what he did. He started on this again, and he used, cement, adobe style. He actually built a little house over there with hay bales. You see the hay bales right there? He started experimenting with hay bales and kind of create like an adobe style house, and that's nearby. He actually never lived in it. He lived in a truck that was out front, but he was creating it nonetheless. And he used that technique for part of this. He'd spend all day at the dump looking for cans of paint. And he finally would find a can of paint, and maybe half of it would be usable. So he spent all day out there at the dump finding paint. He'd come back and use it here. People would donate him paint. He said he'd use the good paint for colorful things, and the bad paint he'd use, or the not so desirable paint, he would use just as filler around the location. So just an amazing journey and sculpture and landmark and monument to love and to his faith. So just really special. I hope you enjoy this tour as much as we enjoyed being out here and exploring it ourselves. It really is something special. You should come out and check it out. It's near the Salton Sea. It's not too far from San Diego. Actually, on a good day without traffic, just a little more than 2 hours from LA, 2.5. And, closer to 3 probably. And not far from Palm Springs as well. Come out, check it out, and take your own inspiration from Leonard Knight's creation. And I hope that you enjoyed this little tour of Salvation Mountain. And if you stick around and subscribe to the channel, you'll see our visit with Slab City and the residents there, as well as hear an interview with one of the caretakers, security guards that were here that we talked to at Salvation Mountain. Thanks.